Mr. Steudtner, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. You were in Turkish prison nearly 4 months and you returned to Germany just in time for your daughter's 4th birthday. How are you doing now?
Well, I'm doing fine, but taking it very slowly. So rather no work, just some media work, some official contacts, meetings, but taking it slowly mainly with my family.
How have you been able to process this time in Turkey yet?
Well, I think processing it is a process in itself, so it takes time. I'm not rushing with it. There's a lot of continuity for me in it, in a way to say that as I'm a trainer for dealing with stress and trauma, I know what can happen. It doesn't have to happen, but it's continuity in doing my relaxation exercises, which I did before going into prison. During prison, I'm doing it still. It's a lot of talking with friends, with colleagues. It's also just getting back into normal rhythms, like taking care of the children, etc.
I can't imagine what you've been through in these nearly 4 months. How did you experience that time in Turkish prison? How did that daily routine look like for you?
Coming into a prison was for me like coming into a new country, especially also that I don't speak Turkish, or I learned Turkish in prison now, but only rather rough Turkish. So everything's new, like the daily rhythm is new. Also moving from one prison to the other prison is new routines. There are very strict frames to everything. Well, solitary confinement is maybe the strictest one I had for several days. But also there, I was treated mainly with respect by the guards. I had great inmates in a way, who were passing through similar situations like I did. And for me it was very important to feel the solidarity from the outside as well from the fellow prisoners. So there was a lot of taking care of me, I could take care of them, and then knowing about all the solidarity action outside really helped me to carry through these 113 days.
You're lucky to be out now, but you are still on trial in Turkey you're accused of supporting actually several terrorist organizations. How is that influencing your life still?
Well, on one hand, sure enough, I'm closely following the hearings. The second one was on 22nd of November with the hearing of some of the other trialed ones. And now the next one is end of January. The thing for me is that I'm very much travel restricted in a way because we don't know if the Turkish authorities would file Interpol red notices or not. We have seen it with Akanli, with other people that Turkish authorities filed red notices. We're not aware in the moment that it has happened, but this could happen. And so I really have to check where I travel.
Many are still imprisoned in Turkey, also German citizens. How do you judge on this situation in Turkey, on the human rights situation, after having been through it yourself now?
Well, judging the political situation is very challenging for me because I've been 4 months in a Turkish prison, but I don't know anything on the political processes really between Germany and Turkey. I didn't follow the political process in Turkey before. So I might be a specialist on solitary confinement in one Turkish prison in the moment, but I cannot say anything about the political situation. Looking into the judicial system and the judicial procedures, I see that for a lot of the political detainees, that the situation is rather unfair. The trials are postponed. There are sometimes not even indictments until now, like Deniz Yücel doesn't have an indictment. There are other German, like Meşale Tolu, there's a process ongoing. But it's very slow, and this is actually very challenging and also not according to judicial procedures as they should be. So there's a lot of solidarity from my side towards Sam, and I hope that I can say the same, that I would love to say the same that Deniz Yücel said a few days before my release, like, you're going to be out now soon. And
Deniz Yücel, the German journalist that is still in prison in Turkey.
Exactly. And he told me this during my last days because we were able to see each other through several glass doors. And I would love to shout this to them as well, but I can just say, like, I'm sure you're going to manage.
Mr. Steudtner, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. I think it's important to shed light on the situation in Turkey, and best of luck to you and your family. Thank you.